right? Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Love and light. It's your brother, Omni Amanashi, also known as Omni Omnis. This is another session of Natural Sciences 101, okay? This is independent research, all right? Courtesy of OmniVision EDU 360 degrees. So love and light to all the brothers and sisters that are joining in, and hope you guys are ready for today's build. We're going to be talking about the RH population. So RH is an acronym termed after the rhesus macaque monkey, okay, which is indigenous to the geographical location of Eurasia, which is between Europe and Asia. The term rhesus factor is in reference to a genetic marker found present in the DNA of some modern humans. So based on the 2020 World Census population, it's estimated to be approximately 7.8 billion to 8 billion people worldwide. Consider the 85-15% ratio in the RH study. That's 8 billion, right? 85% divided by 15% of 8 billion. That leaves us with 1.2 billion, approximately 1.2 billion people that are RH. Was first discovered by a geneticist by the name of Carl Landsteiner in the 1900s. Rhesus factor definition by Oxford Dictionary: an antigen occurring on the red blood cells of many humans and some other primates, around 85%. It's particularly important as the cause of hematologic disease of the newborn and RH incompatibility in blood transfusions. So hematologic disease of the newborn is the destruction of the red blood cells, the RBCs, which are the carriers of oxygen, all right, and iron in the hemoglobins. Red blood cells are destroyed by acidic, fungal, bacterial based cells in the interaction of RH positive and RH negative, especially during pregnancy and blood transfusions. So how do we identify the good and bad cells? Gametes are sexual reproductive germ cells, all right, present in AB and AB blood groups. A germ cell is any biological cell that gives rise to gametes. So in the O blood group, which is allelic and antigenic free, meaning it does not have alleles or antigens, all right? No animal DNA markers. This is also a part of the reason why the sexual reproductive cells in the O blood group would not be gametes, would not be germ-based, fungal, bacterial-based, okay? That only applies to antigens and alleles. Every species group has its own chemical, cellular, and chromosomal composition. As far as the RH factor is concerned in the world population census, the ratio is 85-15%. So 15% of the population is genetically different. 85% of the population is genetically the same. So hybrid organisms never outnumber original native parent species of organisms in population, okay? Now, for example, a liger is a crossbreed between a lion and a tiger, okay? There are only an estimate 100 ligers worldwide, all right? Now, when you look at the tiger population is an estimate over 3,000 tigers worldwide compared to the 100 ligers. Now, when you look at the lion population is an estimate 20,000 lions worldwide. Mules, for example, which are also hybrids, have a world estimate population of 700, okay, which is very low. Donkeys, for example, which are the parent species of mules, have a world population of an estimate 44 million, Okay, horses, for example, which are the parent species of the mules as well, have a world estimate population of 58 million. Now look at the difference in population. Look at the difference in reproduction. Why don't hybrids have the ability to reproduce at the same rate as an original species? We have common genes and then we have rare genes. The rare genes are mutations. All right? Now, the mutation occurs from the hybridization between primate and human. Original humans are the template, the prototypes that created the hybrid. Okay? The original population of the species. The antigen and allelic genes is the Neanderthal gene. All right? Now, the antibody, like I said, is your immune self-defense mechanisms. The antibodies are naturally occurring antibiotics in your DNA. Okay? Some individuals are inherent to more antibodies than others. Some individuals are inherent to less antibodies than others. Okay? Now, the antigen and allelic gene is the animal DNA marker. The antibody is the human DNA marker. And in the O blood group, you have pure antibodies. No presence of antigenic allelic genes from animals. Now, the proof of hybridization is the possession of both antibodies and allelic genes. Okay? The antibodies are human DNA markers. The antigenic allelic genes are animal DNA markers. So if you possess antibodies and allelic genes, you're a hybrid. Okay? Antibodies and allelic genes apply to the A blood type, the B blood type, and the AB blood type. Okay? So O blood group / blood types are the universal donors. Okay? Absent of antigenic allelic genes, meaning they do not have the Rh factor. That's why A blood type has A antigen, B antibody. Okay? One human DNA marker, one animal DNA marker. B blood type has B antigen, therefore it is B blood type, which is an animal DNA marker, and one human DNA marker, which is the antibody. A B blood type consists of both A and B antigens, two different genetic mutations present in that particular blood group. Okay? Now, the AB blood type has the least immunity due to the absence of antibodies. That's why doctors typically prescribe individuals antibodies upon infection. Antibodies are meant to fight against the invasion of the immune system, such as bacteria, viruses, infections. Acidification creates infertility in soil. We know toxicity creates infertility. And once the soil becomes too toxic or too acidic, it lacks the ability to produce the necessary nutrients and minerals for abundant crops. Acidity and toxicity on the chemical level fundamentally creates infertility, the inability to produce, the inability to reproduce, brothers and sisters, okay? So what I'm telling you is that when it comes to the Rh study and the ABO blood group study, individuals that are of the Rh negatives would generally be the larger population due to the fact that the Rh negatives, meaning absent of animal genes, are pure humans, and that the hybrids, which are the Rh positives or the Rh carriers, are the result of crossbreeding between species, between humans and primates, creating a new species known as mankind, all right? A kind of man, which is a hybrid. This is where the inorganic biochemistry stems from. This is why modern medicine makes it such a big deal to be vaccinated, to boost the immune system of individuals who are naturally inherent to the same level of immunity. So as far as the Rh population, the RH population world census is concerned, all right, it said that, or reported that the RH positive population is the dominant 85%. Okay, this is the mainstream census taught in mainstream science, all right? And the remaining 15%, which is the minorities, are the RH negatives. Okay, so just think about that. For many years, people of color have been considered to be the minority. Now, as I stated earlier, the RH factor is a genetic marker inherent to certain groups of humans, all right, in certain blood groups, and it is a precursor of disease and low immunity, all right. Now, this genetic marker is the determining factor for species group study. It is said and reported that individuals that are of the RH positive population are the majority, 85%. Okay, so just to make sure we on the same page, family, a hybrid is a cross strain of species between two genetically distinct separate species. Hybrids are not natural organisms. They're not naturally occurring in nature, all right? And with hybrids comes inorganic biochemistry. With inorganic biochemistry comes toxicity and acidification. As I said, degranulated soil that is too acidic cannot bear abundant crops, due to the soil's inability to provide minerals and nutrients, all right? So with acidification comes infertility. Infertility is inherent to individuals who are RH carriers, not meaning that they cannot sexually reproduce, but they cannot sexually reproduce on a normal level. The illogical discrepancy is hybrids are not capable of producing or reproducing at the same rate as original species of organisms. So having the RH factor results in smaller populations. So my thing is, with the mainstream census being the RH positives or the RH carriers being the 85%, which is the dominant world population, how is that so when with hybrids comes acidification and toxicity, which results in infertility, all right? So that's with humans, animals, and plants. So what I'm trying to understand, are humans supposed to be exempt from chemistry? Okay. If you're a hybrid, you have inorganic biochemistry. Okay. By default, your biochemistry is compromised. 8 billion people is the world population. 15% of that world population is 1.2 billion. Okay. So we have 8 billion people that are normal. 8 billion people that don't have compromised immune systems. 8 billion people, right, that have organic biochemistry.